The Blue Jays cough one up in Game 3 as the Yankees now have life in the ALDS. Hey everyone, welcome into Long Ball. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley and Toronto Sun sports columnist Steve Simmons. And guys, they never said it was going to be easy, and the New York Yankees have been doing this all season long, battling the Blue Jays tooth and nail, and here they are once again with an opportunity to send things back to Toronto for game number 5. It started about as good as you could have drawn it up, Rob. If you were the Blue Jays, you knocked Yankee starter Carlos Rodon out of the game in the third inning, and you led 6-1, but the Yankees scored 8 unanswered to win it 9-6. A lot of people playing the blame game today. Who deserves the most heat, you think, for this loss?
I think it's quite simple, really. It's defensively. A team that had played such solid, clean defense for the vast majority of the season, a big reason why they were able to win 94 games, quite frankly, just folded in key situations last night. You can start with the Isaiah Kiner-Falefa play in the first, a routine fielding play that would have gotten starter Shane Bieber out of the inning with just 7 pitches and may have changed everything about his start. That only cost him 1 run, but it certainly set the tone for what was to come. To me, the biggest defensive blunder was the one, though, with when Addison Barger misplayed the ball in shallow left field. It allowed that allowed the Yankees to get 2 men on base and Aaron Judge to hit what is going to may go down in history as one of the biggest home runs of his career, the 3-run shot that tied the game at 6-6. And you could see, in my opinion anyway, you could see almost that as soon as that play happened, some of the life went out of the Blue Jays, especially after the home run. But you could see the confusion on the field between Barger and Davis Schneider, and then Davis Schneider afterwards going over to talk to Dalton Varsho as if to say, what happened there? What did we do wrong? And this is a team that's held it together for much of the season, and those kind of defensive lapses are somewhat foreign to them. So to see it happen in such a big environment, I think really led to the collapse. We can talk about the Santander one later in the game that also cost a run. And while not an error, Vlad Guerrero Jr. had a ball that got by him and into the outfield that cost him as well. So sloppy defense at the most inopportune time. To me, that was the biggest culprit if we're talking blame game.
All year long, what's made this team special is contributions up and down its lineup, and contributions from all kinds of players in all kinds of circumstances. And as Rob points out, the defensive blunders, and there were some scored errors, and there were some that weren't scored errors that could have been scored errors, made throughout the lineup, throughout the game, is not what this team is all about. And it's not what they've been all season long, offensively and or defensively. And then you get to the bullpen. And, that's part of, again, this whole team is about everybody, and more so than I think any baseball team I can remember watching. So what happened last night? 5 earned runs for the bullpen in just over 5 innings pitched. It's not something that makes you comfortable. A 6-1 lead becomes a 9-6 defeat. That's on the defense. That's on the manager. That's on the bullpen. You can point the finger in about 25 or 26 different directions because that's what happened last night.
And to Steve's point, it makes you even more worried with the way the bullpen has performed in this series because we all know what tonight is, a bullpen game.
So it would seem to be a tall task for the Blue Jays here, Steve, with the bullpen game in game number 4. How does manager John Schneider go about navigating this one?
Well, they're going to start Louis Varland, who gave up 2 home runs last night, by the way. And the reason I suspect they're doing this is because the last time they had a bullpen day, he was the starter and they worked it from there and everything worked perfectly and it was great. Well, two differences. One, they're playing the New York Yankees right now. 2, they're playing the New York Yankees with Schlitzler on the mound, who struck out 12 in his last start against the Red Sox in a clinching game. So we're talking their Yasevich is pitching tonight against the Blue Jays. And, you look at the last 2 games, this sort of dependable, sometimes inconsistent Blue Jay bullpen, last 2 games, 12 innings pitched, 12 earned runs given up in just under 9 innings pitched. If anything like that happens, on Wednesday night, you're playing Friday, I think is the way you look at it.
Yeah, a couple of points to Steve's comments there, and I hate to be the glass half full guy, but if you're looking for some sort of encouragement, the last time the Blue Jays faced Cam Schlittler at Yankee Stadium, they hit him pretty well, chased him early. Now, will that happen again tonight when the stakes are that much higher? I wouldn't necessarily be banking on it. And I don't hate Louis Varland as the opener. I don't think he pitched terrible last night, which sounds so absurd to say, given that he only gave up 2 hits and both of them were home runs. But the one that Aaron Judge hit out was a pretty darn good pitch, well off the plate, and Judge just hit it out with an unworldly effort. So you try to sort of maybe hope that maybe he can, he rallies around what he's done prior to that, because for my money anyway, and this isn't saying a whole lot, he's been the best reliever on this staff over the past 3 or 4 weeks. His fastball plays with great electricity. He's throwing it at 101 miles an hour, and he's got some big outs. But if he's the best of the bunch in that bullpen right now, it still is a cause for concern, to Steve's point, because he certainly got rocked last night. And how does he come back on that mound on Wednesday night here with everything on the line, or seemingly everything on the line, and have to face Aaron Judge in the bottom of the first inning? That's a pretty tall order in what's going to be a crazy Yankee Stadium.
A deeper question, Rob's, in this circumstance is, how did the Blue Jays come to a circumstance that in one of the most important, if not the most important games of this season, that they don't have a starting pitcher ready to go?
Well, the circumstances.
I know they had injuries, Barrios got hurt, and but when they pulled Lauer from the rotation, they misplayed that, and so they don't have him. He's not stretched out now to be a starting pitcher. To me, I'd be comfortable with him starting tonight, to be perfectly honest.
Lauer will be the bulk guy. He will pitch more than any other pitcher tonight. But that's not the point. Your point is correct, Stephen. And you have to fear, if maybe, because we've seen this in the past, if maybe this management group is overthinking things a little bit and trying to outsmart everybody, like we've seen in the past. They thought that it was in a short series they could get by with 3 starters. Now, there's reason for it. Max Scherzer couldn't get anybody out in September. Chris Bassett had a mild back strain and wasn't built up and ready to go again. And Jose Barrios is on the IL. However, it still smacks of overthinking things a little bit and creates the possibility of spectacularly blowing up in their face, which is something we've seen each of the last 2 times this team's been in the postseason.
And I think of all the people involved, I think if you had said to Bassett 2 or 3 days before the series started, can you give me 4 innings? Can you do that? If you can do that, I'm putting you on the roster. And I think, as you say, Rob, maybe they overthought things a little bit. I would have liked to have Chris Bassett on the roster, even though it would have, browned off Scherzer at that point in time. But nonetheless, this guy at least is a veteran starting pitcher that will be going, as opposed to, Varland has started in the past, as opposed to a bullpen game after 2 days of horrendous bullpen pitching.
Yeah, I would have taken 4 innings of Chris Bassett for sure, and that wouldn't be asking it too much because he had been building up. It certainly would have given you a little bit more comfort having a veteran guy like that rather than a bullpen day in the most important game of what, to date anyway, has been a pretty impressive season by this team.
And please, can we keep Anthony Santander out of the outfield? The day they signed him, I wrote about the fact that he can't play the outfield. And I remember it was Ross Atkins or somebody, he's not as bad as you think. Well, yeah, he is as bad as you think.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Santander in right field last night. But when we talk tomorrow, we're either talking about a John Schneider masterclass with the bullpen game, or we're going to be talking about a Game 5 on Friday night at Rogers Center. So we'll see what happens in game number 4 on Wednesday evening. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Rob Longley and Steve Simmons, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.